Somewhere in the Bay of Bengal, far from shipping lanes and tourist routes, lies an island that doesn't want you there. Dense forest presses against a pale strip of sand, and beyond it the water looks calm enough to invite you closer. But the moment you cross an invisible line, everything changes. This is North Sentinel Island, one of the last places on Earth where contact is not just discouraged, but forbidden. No hotels, no docks, no guided tours. Not because it lacks beauty, but because it has something far more rare, a people who have chosen to remain untouched. The Sentinelese have lived here for thousands of years, isolated by geography and protected by their own refusal to engage. They do not negotiate, they do not welcome, they defend. Immediately. And that single fact has kept the world at a distance. Because in an age where everything is mapped, measured, and monetized, this island remains a boundary. Not drawn on paper, but enforced in reality. The first outsiders who tried to understand this place did what explorers have always done. They approached. In the late 19th century, a British officer named Maurice Vidal Portman landed with a small party, driven by curiosity and the belief that every place could be studied. They found huts, tools, signs of life, but no people. The inhabitants had retreated into the forest, watching without being seen. Portman took a few individuals from nearby Andaman groups and even abducted Sentinelese to learn from them. It ended badly. The captives fell ill almost immediately, exposed to diseases their bodies had never encountered. Some died. The survivors were returned, but the damage was done. A message had been delivered without words. Outside contact brings danger. From that point on, every approach was met with distance or resistance. Because for them, the forest is not just shelter, it's protection. Decades later, the modern world tried again, this time with better intentions. In the 1970s and 80s, Indian anthropologists approached the island with gifts, coconuts, metal tools, attempts at peaceful contact. Sometimes the Sentinelese accepted them. Sometimes they raised bows. The same shoreline, two different responses, both unpredictable. A National Geographic film crew once came close enough to capture a moment that says everything. A cameraman was struck by an arrow. No warning that could be understood, no negotiation, just a clear boundary enforced. Even helicopters that hovered after the 2004 tsunami, checking if the islanders had survived, were met with hostility. A man stepped onto the beach and fired arrows at the sky. Alive, unafraid, uninterested in help. The message was consistent. We are here, and we do not want you here. Then there are the stories that ended without return. In 2006, two fishermen drifted too close while sleeping in their boat. The current carried them inside the restricted zone. By the time authorities realized what happened, it was already over. Their bodies were seen on the shore, guarded. No recovery was attempted, because any rescue would have put more lives at risk. Years later, in 2018, an American missionary named John Allen Chow made a deliberate attempt to reach the island. He knew the risks. He went anyway. Fishermen dropped him at a distance. He paddled in alone. The first contact was immediate, arrows fired, warnings ignored. He returned, tried again, and did not come back. What happened is not mysterious, it's consistent. The boundary was crossed, and the response followed.
Today, the government of India enforces a strict exclusion zone around the island. Not just to protect outsiders, but to protect the Sentinelese. Because the real danger isn't what they might do to visitors, it's what visitors might bring to them. A simple cold, a common virus, things most people recover from without thinking, could be devastating to a population that has lived in isolation for millennia. History has shown this again and again across the Andaman Islands. Contact leads to disease. Disease leads to collapse. So the rule is clear. Do not approach. Not out of fear, but out of responsibility. And yet, the mystery remains. What is life like inside that forest? How do they see the ocean, the sky, the rare silhouettes of ships on the horizon? There are theories, some grounded, some not, that they've chosen isolation after witnessing past violence. That their society functions without the pressures of modern systems. That their knowledge of the island, its seasons, its resources, runs deeper than anything written in books. And then there's the question people don't ask out loud. What would happen if one of them came here?
into cities, noise, speed, exposure. The same imbalance that makes outsiders dangerous to them would work in reverse. It wouldn't be discovery, it would be shock. Because two worlds that evolved separately don't merge easily. So why are you not allowed to visit this island? Not because it's impossible to reach, not because it's hidden, but because it stands for something that modern life rarely accepts, a boundary that should not be crossed. In a world built on access, exposure, and constant expansion, this island remains closed. Not by accident, by decision. Theirs, and now ours. Because sometimes the most powerful choice is not to explore further, but to stop. To recognize that not everything needs to be seen, touched, or understood to be respected. And that's why North Sentinel Island remains what it is. Untouched. Unvisited. Not because no one tried, but because the line is clear. And for once, it's being honored.